Imagine waking up to a routine day, only to find yourself moments later, trapped in the freezing dark, 100 feet underwater, with nothing but an air pocket and your sheer will to survive. Harrison Okene lived this nightmare for 40 excruciating hours. How did he endure when everything seemed lost?
He survived in a small air pocket drinking Coca-Cola.
The boat's cook survived, stuck in a small air pocket in frigid water deep beneath the sea.
He's alive, he's alive. Okay, keep him there.
On May 26, 2013, Harrison Okene, an experienced seaman, started his day like any other. His ship, the Gascon 4, was carrying out routine operations in the Gulf of Guinea, assisting an oil tanker just 20 miles off the Nigerian coast. At 5 a.m., Harrison's alarm woke him. Little did he know that mundane morning ritual would lead him into a battle for his life. The stormy weather had caused the seas to be rough, but Harrison, accustomed to the ocean's temper, didn't think much of it. After all, heavy waves were nothing new. But on this day, the ocean was particularly unforgiving. As Harrison prepared breakfast for the crew, a monstrous wave slammed into the Gascon 4, sending the vessel spiraling down into the depth. Within moments, the ship capsized, plunging 100 feet below the surface, trapping Harrison and 10 others in a cold, dark tomb. When the wave hit, Harrison was in the bathroom, a small enclosed space that would soon become his unlikely sanctuary. As the ship flipped, water began to flood the tiny room and the lights went out, leaving him in pitch-black darkness. The ship's security systems, designed to prevent piracy, locked the doors from the inside, making escape nearly impossible. Harrison, trapped in the rising water, felt the icy cold envelop him. He knew he couldn't stay in the bathroom as it filled with water. In a desperate attempt to survive, he tore apart a vent and used it to pry open the door. The ship was upside down, and the once familiar corridors were now a confusing maze filled with debris. Harrison could hear the distant cries of his crewmates, but he was powerless to help. With no hope of escaping the sunken vessel, Harrison's only option was to find an air pocket. He gathered supplies from a nearby pantry and found refuge in another bathroom. Here, he spent the next 40 hours clinging to life, with only a small pocket of air to breathe. But even this air pocket posed dangers. As Harrison breathed, the oxygen slowly depleted, replaced by deadly carbon dioxide. The freezing water sapped his strength, threatening to cause hypothermia. In a bid to survive, Harrison used tools to strip wall panels from the boat, fashioning a makeshift raft to keep part of his body out of the freezing water. It was a fragile lifeline in an otherwise hopeless situation. As the hours passed, the darkness weighed heavily on Harrison's mind. He prayed continuously, thinking of his wife and family, fighting the despair that threatened to overwhelm him. With no sign of rescue, his hope began to wane. Meanwhile, on the surface, the Gascon 4 had sent out a mayday call. As soon as the waters calmed, rescue teams were dispatched to the scene. Divers descended into the depths, marking the wreck's location with buoys. They banged on the sides of the ship, hoping for any sign of life, but heard nothing. They weren't equipped for deep-sea diving and had limited time underwater. Believing there were no survivors, the rescue mission was called off. As Harrison's air supply dwindled and his hope faded, a new team was brought in, not to rescue survivors, but to recover the bodies. This team, led by experienced divers Nico van Heerden, Andre Erasmus, Daryl Oosthuizen, and Colby Werrett, faced the daunting task of navigating the murky, silt-filled waters surrounding the wreck. The dive team spent over an hour just breaking into the ship. The security measures meant to protect the crew from piracy now made it incredibly difficult to access the vessel. Once inside, the divers navigated through overturned furniture and debris, recovering 4 bodies along the way. It was then that Van Heerden made a shocking discovery. As he swam through a narrow passage, Van Heerden felt something unexpected, a hand. At first, Harrison wasn't sure what had touched him. He feared it might be a shark, but then he saw the diver's light cutting through the darkness. His prayers had been answered. The divers, stunned to find Harrison alive, knew they had to act fast. However, Harrison's ordeal was far from over. Being so far underwater for so long had exposed him to immense pressure and nitrogen. If the divers brought him directly to the surface, he could suffer from the bends, a potentially deadly condition where nitrogen bubbles form in the bloodstream. To prevent this, Harrison was placed in a decompression chamber, where he remained for another 3 days as his body gradually adjusted to the surface pressure. The divers did everything they could to make him comfortable, providing regular meals, water, and fresh linens during this time. After his release from the decompression chamber, Harrison became an international sensation. His story of survival against all odds captured the world's attention. Despite the trauma, Harrison didn't let the experience deter him from the ocean. In fact, it fueled his passion further. He quickly began training as a diver, turning his near-death experience into a new career. Today, Harrison Okene works on vessels, making underwater repairs, and continues to inspire people worldwide with his incredible story of resilience and survival. 10 years after that fateful day, Harrison's story serves as a testament to the human spirit's strength. His will to survive in the face of unimaginable odds is a powerful reminder that even in the darkest of times, hope and determination can light the way to survival. Harrison Okene's story is not just one of survival, it's a tale of the indomitable human spirit. Trapped 100 feet underwater for 40 hours in freezing darkness, Harrison's will to live, his resourcefulness, and his faith saw him through what many would consider a hopeless situation. His journey from a terrified man clinging to life in an air pocket to a skilled diver is a story that will continue to inspire for generations to come.